Mom, I cannot breathe. Ms. Melinda made me eat a peanut butter cookie. The smartwatch speaker crackled with my daughter's weak groans. Underneath her tiny voice was a high-pitched, terrifying wheeze. I glanced at my phone screen. Exactly 6 minutes had passed since she was force-fed that peanut cookie. For severe anaphylaxis, the golden window for emergency resuscitation is only 15 minutes. I shoved the conference room doors open and sprinted toward the stairwell like a madwoman. My department head was still shouting my name from the head of the table. My husband David was on a business trip. My mother-in-law was completely useless and could not even tell the difference between a common cold and a severe allergy. I could not rely on anyone else. I was the only one who could save her. The preschool was only 3 traffic lights away. I slammed my foot onto the gas pedal and dialed the teacher's number, roaring into the Bluetooth mic. Stab her with the EpiPen right now. It is in the front pocket of her backpack. A condescending giggle echoed through the car speakers. Oh please, Rachel. Are you auditioning for a soap opera? It is just psychosomatic. She is throwing a tantrum. Let her drink some warm water and she will be perfectly fine. Shut up, I screamed. My eyes were completely bloodshot. If my daughter suffers permanent brain damage from oxygen deprivation, I will make sure you rot in a prison cell for the rest of your miserable life. Without waiting for her to respond, I dialed emergency services. 911, what is your emergency? Southwood Avenue, Sunflower Academy. A teacher force-fed my daughter peanuts. She is going into anaphylactic shock right now. I jammed my wireless earbud into my ear and jerked the steering wheel hard. The Range Rover tires shrieked against the asphalt. I cut off a black sedan with a violent brake check. The other driver leaned out his window and cursed at me, but I could not hear the outside world. My brain was completely consumed by the sound of my daughter's fading breath. The dispatcher remained professionally calm. Ma'am, please take a deep breath. Does your daughter have a documented allergy history? What are her exact symptoms? Severe peanut allergy. I signed a medical waiver and a strict dietary restriction form the day she enrolled. I bit down on my lips so hard I tasted copper. She is suffocating. The teacher is actively refusing to administer her EpiPen. This is medical negligence. This is attempted murder. Copy that. I am dispatching paramedics to your location right now. The rapid clacking of a keyboard echoed over the line. Officers from the local precinct should arrive on scene within 5 minutes. Please drive safely. The moment the call disconnected, my dashboard screen lit up with an incoming call from my boss. The second I answered, he unleashed a barrage of corporate rage. Rachel, have you completely lost your mind? Where the hell are you going? The international pitch is at 2:30. The entire executive board is sitting in this room waiting for you. Get your ass back here right now. The traffic light ahead flipped to red. I did not even touch the brake. I pressed the accelerator all the way to the floorboards. Cancel the pitch. My kid is dying at preschool. I am going to save her. Dying? Stop giving me these pathetic excuses. My boss sneered over the line. You called out sick last month because she had a fever. What is the game this time? Do you even want this job anymore? The heavy SUV launched through the intersection. A chaotic symphony of car horns blared from both sides. I stared at the congested traffic ahead with absolute ice in my veins. Do whatever you want. Fire me. Dock my pay. Just leave me alone. I cut the call and immediately blocked his number. Nothing in this universe mattered more than Deborah's life. The smartwatch control app was still broadcasting live audio. Through the static, I heard Jessica Melinda's shrill, nasty voice. Stop playing dead. Get up off the floor. All the other kids ate my homemade cookies and they are perfectly fine. Why are you acting like such a fragile little brat? Oh, you are going to fake a panic attack now? Is this how your mother lets you act at home? A loud screech of a chair being dragged across the tiles followed. Deborah! I screamed into the phone, my voice cracking. Deborah, do not be afraid. Mommy is almost there. Just hold on. There was no response from my sweet girl. Only a heavy, agonizing wheeze that sounded like someone was crushing her throat. Jessica! I yelled the teacher's name, my entire body violently shaking. Open her backpack right now. Take the red pen and stab it directly into her thigh. If you do not want to go to jail, you will do exactly what I say. Jessica seemed slightly startled by the sheer ferocity in my voice, but a second later, she let out a scoff dripping with arrogant contempt. Rachel, do you suffer from some sort of persecution complex? I took a child psychology seminar. This is a classic somatic symptom disorder. She just wants adult attention. The more you coddle her, the worse this behavior gets. I am going to cure her little princess syndrome today. She needs to learn that this classroom is not her personal kingdom. My vision went black at the edges. My fingernails dug so deeply into the leather steering wheel they almost drew blood. This self-righteous, ignorant fool had absolutely no idea how fast anaphylactic shock could kill. I am going to say this one last time. Give her the shot. My voice dropped into a terrifyingly calm dead register. If she dies, I will tear your entire world apart. The line went dead silent for 2 seconds. Jessica was clearly rattled by the pure malice in my words, but her deep-rooted arrogance prevented her from admitting a mistake. Stop threatening me. I am going to take her to the washroom to splash some cold water on her face. That will wake her up. Her footsteps faded away. The smartwatch only picked up the faint buzz of static. I checked the dashboard clock. 8 minutes had passed since the allergic reaction triggered. Ahead of me was a long, narrow one-way street. 2 massive delivery trucks were driving side by side, blocking the entire road at a snail's pace. I laid on the horn. The truck driver just lazily tapped his brakes in response. Every single second of that 15-minute window was slipping through my fingers. I caught a glimpse of my own bloodshot eyes in the rearview mirror. I whipped the steering wheel to the right. The Range Rover hopped the curb and plowed directly onto the pedestrian sidewalk. The undercarriage scraped against the concrete with a deafening screech. Pedestrians screamed and dove into the bushes. I kept my foot pinned on the gas, squeezing the massive vehicle between 2 thick oak trees. The entire right side of the car was violently scraped. The passenger side mirror shattered and snapped off completely. I did not care. As long as the engine was running, I was going to get there. I blasted out of the bottleneck. There was only one traffic light left before the academy. The smartwatch picked up the sound of running tap water. Then came Jessica's impatient voice. Are you done washing your face? Stop pretending you are dying. Nobody is buying it. Cough. Ms. Melinda, it hurts. Deborah's voice was a microscopic whisper. She sounded like she was fading away. What hurts? You just want to skip afternoon gym class. I heard a sharp smack. Jessica was physically slapping something. Stand up straight. Stop sliding onto the floor. Listening to those sounds seconds felt like someone was taking a sledgehammer to my heart. She was abusing my daughter. My child was collapsing from asphyxiation, and this monster was physically punishing her. Jessica, if you touch her one more time, I swear to God, I roared at the microphone. Jessica snorted dismissively. Look, Rachel, if you bring your kid to our academy, you need to trust our educational methods. We are building her resilience. Your toxic coddling is going to ruin this child. She reached out and manually severed the smartwatch connection. The car cabin plunged into a suffocating silence. Only the sound of my own ragged breathing echoed off the glass. The traffic light ahead turned red. The countdown timer displayed a full 60 seconds. Cross traffic began to flow into the intersection. I never touched the brake. I pressed the gas pedal flat against the floor. The engine roared and I launched the car straight into the crossfire. A massive dump truck loaded with gravel was barreling in from the side. The driver slammed his horn in panic. The giant steel grille of the truck missed my rear bumper by an inch. The pure kinetic force whipped my body sideways. My head slammed against the driver's side window. A sharp burst of pain exploded across my forehead and warm liquid began to drip down my eyebrow. I did not even wipe it away. My eyes were locked onto the brightly colored building sitting on the corner block. Sunflower Academy. Before the car even came to a full stop, I shoved the door open. The seatbelt dug painfully into my chest as I scrambled to unbuckle it. Because the car was still rolling, I basically tumbled out of the driver's seat. My knees slammed brutally onto the concrete pavement. My sheer tights shredded instantly. A blinding pain shot up my legs. Blood and gravel mixed on my skin. I crawled up using my hands and feet, stumbling frantically toward the academy's main entrance. The automatic sliding glass doors were locked tight. Inside the lobby, a young receptionist was looking down, endlessly scrolling on her phone. Open the door! I threw myself against the glass, pounding on it with both hands. My daughter is dying! Open the fucking door! The receptionist jumped in her chair. She looked up, her face twisting into a scowl when she saw a disheveled woman covered in blood banging on the glass. She walked over slowly, standing safely behind the glass. She tapped a printed sign taped to the window. Ma'am, it is 2:30. This is not a designated pickup time. According to campus protocol, parents are not permitted inside. I glared at her. My eyes were completely bloodshot and feral. My daughter is in anaphylactic shock. Her rescue window is closing. Unlock this door right now. I will take full legal responsibility. The receptionist rolled her eyes and crossed her arms over her chest. Look, lady, do not try that dramatic nonsense with me. Every single day, parents make up ridiculous excuses to pull their kids out early. If it is really an emergency, scan the QR code on that podium outside. Fill out the digital release form, wait for the homeroom teacher to approve it, and then I will unlock the door. She pointed a manicured finger at a dusty sign sitting on the sidewalk. Looking at her cold, bureaucratic face, every last thread of my sanity snapped. Screw your protocol. I took 2 steps back and threw my entire body weight against the glass doors. My shoulder slammed into the tempered glass with a heavy thud. The glass did not break, but my entire left side went numb. The receptionist stepped back in shock. All the color drained from her face. What are you doing? That is destruction of private property. If you do not stop, I am calling security. She grabbed her walkie-talkie and started calling for the guards. I ignored her entirely. Through the transparent doors, I looked deep into the main corridor. At the very end of the hall, right outside the children's washroom, a tiny, familiar figure slowly slid down the wall and collapsed onto the floor. It was my Deborah. She was wearing the little pink sundress I had put on her this morning. Now, she was lying completely motionless on the cold ceramic tiles. Jessica was standing over her. The teacher actually used her foot to nudge my baby's lifeless body. Stop playing dead. Get up. Her muffled voice drifted through the corridor. I lost my mind. I completely lost my mind. Deborah! I let out a blood-curdling scream. I clawed at the seam of the glass doors with my bare hands. My fingernails bent backward and snapped. Blood smeared across the pristine glass. Seeing me act like a wild animal, the receptionist did not open the door. Instead, she pressed her entire body against the glass to ensure the magnetic lock held firm. Where is security? Get to the front lobby right now. There is a crazy woman trying to break in. She screamed into her radio, looking at me with pure disgust. I am warning you. These doors are custom imported. You cannot afford to replace them. I stood there panting heavily, staring at her through the glass. Move away. My daughter is in there. She is dying. My voice was hoarse and broken, laced with a despairing sob. A few other parents who had just dropped off paperwork stopped on the sidewalk. They stood a few feet away, whispering and pointing at me. I turned around, my knees buckling as I dropped to the ground in front of them. Please, please help me. I grabbed the pant leg of a well-dressed father. Help me smash this door open. My daughter is in shock in there. We are running out of time. Please have some mercy. The man quickly took a massive step backward. He aggressively yanked his leg out of my grip and brushed off his expensive slacks. Lady, do not touch me. The school has security rules for a reason. You cannot just break in like a maniac. A woman next to him with perfectly curled hair chimed in. Seriously, parents these days are so dramatic. What could possibly happen inside a premium academy? The teachers know what they are doing. If you keep screaming, you are going to terrify the children inside. They stared at me with completely dead eyes. Not a single one of them was willing to help. Not a single one of them thought a child's life was worth more than a glass door. I looked at them, then turned back to look at the receptionist leaning against the glass. A crushing wave of despair swallowed me whole. I slowly pushed myself up from the pavement. The blood on my knees had already mixed with the gravel and begun to clot. I was done begging. Expecting strangers to care was a death sentence. I turned my head and scanned the exterior of the building. Within seconds, my eyes locked onto a bright red emergency fire cabinet mounted on the brick wall. Behind the glass doors, the receptionist was still yapping. What are you doing? She stuttered, her voice cracking in panic. That is a felony. I am calling the cops. I stared at her through the glass. My eyes were completely dead. You make minimum wage. Do not throw your life away for this. I raised both hands and lifted the heavy fire axe high above my head. Go find your security guards. The receptionist let out a piercing scream and abandoned her post. She scrambled away toward the back corridors, leaving her phone sitting on the desk. I took a deep breath, channeling every drop of adrenaline and fury in my body into my arms. I aimed the heavy steel blade directly at the U-shaped metal lock connecting the 2 glass panels. I swung down with absolute brutal force. Crack.